Morning everyone. In today's video I'm going to go through a few things that I did wrong in my business, so some mistakes I made when trying to build my own business. The first thing that I did wrong and is still biting me in the bum now is undercharging. So it's really tempting when you first set up a new business to try and get those clients and get that work in by charging less than everyone else. Okay, don't do it. It is a mistake in the long run because yes, you might win a client, but they probably won't value you as much as they should. You'll probably find later on down the line that you need to up your prices, and it is going to be difficult if you have severely undercharged to start with. So as an example, I have clients now that I picked up 5 years ago when I was at the beginning of my business journey, who are still paying probably 40 to 50% of what they should be paying me, because I don't feel like I can massively increase their price, even though I know now what my value is and the value of the service that I provide. Yes, I can put it up by 5% or so, but I can't double it, and that really is what they should be paying. The other issue with undercharging is that you're devaluing your profession as a whole. So yes, you might take work from another person and you might get that client rather than them, but actually you're just bringing down the value of the whole profession, and that's not good for anybody. So be really careful with this. Obviously, if you're new and you're not as experienced as somebody else, yes, your fees probably will be slightly lower, but don't be tempted to undercut other people just to get work. It will not do you any favors. Okay, enough of that. The second thing that I did wrong in my business is hiring the wrong people. Now, people can be a major asset to your business. They can also be a real problem and make life a lot harder if you do not hire the right people for you. What happened with me was I didn't do enough forward planning, and I got to the point where I really desperately needed some help and support. But by that point, I was already completely snowed under, and overwhelmed with things. So by the time I tried to find somebody to help me, I didn't actually have the time to do the recruitment process in the way that I would do it now. So take your time with hiring people, anticipate that you're going to need help before you actually are desperate for that help, and that will give you a little bit of time to talk to different people, put the feelers out there, and get the right support for you. I've had it in the past where I've delegated work to people and I've completely obliviously thought that it was getting done, only to find out 2-3 weeks down the line that they hadn't even started on it, and I ended up having to take the work back and do it myself. It's not good. Take time to find reliable staff. Okay. The third thing I did, and I'm sure a lot of other people have done this too, is scrimping to save money in the wrong places. Now, it is absolutely fine to be careful with money. I hate spending money if I don't need to. I don't like wasting money. But there are some things that it is so worth paying for because of the amount of time and stress that it will save you. So with me, I was spending absolutely hours and hours of my time trying to find technical information when I wasn't completely sure of something, or doing manual calculations to work out if somebody would be better trading through a company rather than as a sole trader. There are subscriptions out there for accountants that give you all that information in one place, really easily laid out, easy to understand, and all done for you. So I pay for that now. It costs me £600 a year, but it saves so much of my time that it is way, way worth it. Plus, it's a lot more professional because I can find accurate and up-to-date information that I need for people straight away, and I don't have to spend hours looking for it. So don't scrimp. Consider outsourcing things that are going to take up so much of your time trying to work out how to do it, that it's just going to cost you a lot of time that you could spend bringing money into your business. So say no to false economies. There's two more mistakes that I myself have made in my business and things to avoid. And the next one is not having systems in place from the start. This was something that I heard in a Tony Robbins, I think it was, YouTube video that I was watching, and he was saying that when you start a business, you should set up your systems as if you were already a established business. So think about where you want your business to be, what you are aiming for, and develop your systems, your internal systems, as if you already had that much work and that many clients. It will make it easier. It will stop you getting to the point where you're overwhelmed and then having to quickly rush to develop systems to make things easier. With me, an example of this is when I first started, I maybe had 2 or 3 jobs in at a time. Brenda down the road might have bought me a bag of receipts for her tax return. Dominic from the next town over might have emailed over his bank statements and told me to get on with his company accounts. I had all that information in here and I could manage it because there wasn't very much of it. It got to the point where I was getting so many jobs in and I didn't have a proper system for booking them all in, so to speak, that I was forgetting things. I had client records that I'd forgotten who they belonged to. It's not ideal. So now I have a system where every time a job comes in, I book it in. It all gets logged into a spreadsheet. I label up all the physical records so I know exactly who they belong to. I have that referenced on my spreadsheet. And this way I can manage things a lot better. I know exactly what is in, what's ongoing, what needs to get done. So do that from the start. And my final mistake I've made, this is massive. It's possibly one of the most important things to avoid doing, is do not have any boundaries in place. Boundaries with clients and boundaries with yourself. You must have discipline, because otherwise you end up being in work mode 24/7 and it will burn you out. So one of my biggest bits of advice is to have a separate work mobile phone. I have always just had one phone for business and personal. And what I was finding was that clients were calling me in evenings and at the weekend, and I was answering and dealing with it. So I wasn't switching off. People would message me at 9-10 o'clock in the evening, and because it came up on my phone, I felt like I had to look at it, and then I'd end up replying, or an email notification would come through and there was some sort of an issue and I wouldn't be able to get it out of my head or switch off until I had dealt with it, which in an evening or at a weekend when you're not supposed to be working isn't ideal. So be strict with yourself, with your working hours, and make sure your customers know what they can expect from you and when you are and are not going to be available to get back to them. I worked for quite a big-ish company as a finance officer for about 3 years, and they had contractors based over in the States. And I can remember one evening, it was about 11 o'clock on a Friday night, and I was sat there stressing myself out trying to deal with paying this contractor because there'd been issues with it. And they just expected me to be at their beck and call and do it. And it really made my life difficult. And what I should have done is said, I do not work past 6 o'clock. If anything happens past that point, I cannot deal with it until 9 o'clock on a Monday morning. And just made that really clear to them. Because otherwise you will just stress yourself out and it just won't be sustainable. So guys, my mistakes were undercharging, hiring the wrong people, scrimping and having false economy, not putting systems in place right from the start, and having a lack of boundaries with myself and my clients. So try and avoid all of those things, learn from my mistakes, and good luck with your business. Okay, take care. Bye.